Aloha. It's your favorite friend with questionable character. Aloha, Mr. Han. Coming to you Tuesday, March 30th, 2021, courtesy of our friends at From the 108. And, of course, powered by Jack Daniels. By the way, the bar in behind Section 108 at the ballpark is now the Jack Daniels Old Number 7 bar. I wonder why. So, wanted to get on and talk about the upcoming season, and one thing in particular, why Tony LaRussa is the perfect manager for 2021. And I say that sentence intentionally that way, for 2021. Now, people can have issues with his off the field life. Uh, the critiques are well deserved for that. But my focus is strictly on that 3-4 hour period when he's in the dugout during a game. So don't misinterpret what I'm saying. So, and how I'm going to put it. So, looks like the roster's set, and obviously the Sox were dealt a blow last week with Eloy's injury, and he's out. I've heard anywhere from 3 months to 6 months based on how he heals, and it was the best possible scenario. It was a clean tear and everything else. My assumption is that he is out for 2021. That's just what I'm going with, because even by time he's ready to go, he's healed, he'll still need time to get warmed up and everything else, basically go through another spring training. So I am under the assumption that he is not going to be a factor in 2021. Period. End of story. Another key factor on why I think Tony LaRussa is the perfect manager for 2021. And I keep emphasizing for 2021, and I'm going to get into the specific reasons why. First, you have a White Sox organization that has never made back-to-back playoff appearances. In their 120-year history, they have never made back-to-back playoff appearances. Now, I don't know the mathematical formula of that, like what it would be as far as like going that long without being able to repeat it or anything else, but it's ridiculous. Point blank. It's absolutely ridiculous. Tony La Russa is key here because it's not only a matter of building a winning culture, it's at the point where you need to sustain a winning culture. Yes, you made the playoffs in 2020. You would have been the second wild card team in the old playoff format, but you were aided with the new playoff format. And I say second playoff team based on record and everything else, because Minnesota won the division by one game. The Sox and Cleveland were tied, but Cleveland had the better head-to-head record, so the Sox got the third, were in third place, but their record was better than the other teams that were wild card eligible. So it's come down to time to build a sustaining program of winning. You've had winners here and there. You've won the division 83, 93, 2000, 2005, 2008, and, playoff appearance in 2020 with the World Series in 2005. But you've never had that back-to-back or back-to-back-to-back model, let alone like an Atlanta Braves 14 division titles in a row, or what the Dodgers are doing now as well. You've never really had that in place. Tony La Russa is a guy who can get you there. And I say that because he's done it with different organizations. He did it with Oakland in the late 80s, and he did it with the Cardinals in the starting in the mid 90s, but really into these mid 2000s with until 2011 when he retired. He led the A's to 3 straight World Series titles, 3 straight World Series appearances, 88 through 90, with a winner in 89 in the Earthquake World Series. Also then led the Cardinals to 3 World Series appearances in 2004, 2006, and 2011, with victories in 06 and 11. So he's built teams that have had sustainable success getting to the playoffs and doing some damage in the playoffs. Now, you can argue about those late 80s Oakland A's teams may have had some help. Or down there. They may have had some help, but he still was able to get them to multiple World Series appearances. So He knows what it takes to get there, which is something this organization sorely, sorely needs. They did not have winners in that clubhouse. They had get lucky guys in that clubhouse. They were lucky to win. They were happy that, oh, luck broke our way and we won. They were happy about it. They did not have the focus or the drive of someone like Tony LaRussa leading the ship, which is something that this franchise sorely needs. Sorely, sorely needs. For too long, they've been relying on the same old guys. Oh, we want this guy because he's a former Sox. He's a former White Sox and this and that. You need someone from the outside to come in and absolutely clean house. And I'll be frank and honest, for the last 4 or 5 years, you could ask some of the 108 guys, they'll back this up. I had been screaming that Don Cooper needs to go, screaming it at the top of my lungs. One of the best things they did was get rid of Cooper and bring in Katz. Not because they brought in Katz, but to get Cooper out. Cooper was a great pitching coach in his time, but I think the time has passed him up. And I think he was a system pitching coach where everyone had to fit the mold of what he knew. So he would change guys' pitch mix. Oh, you got to throw a cutter. You got to do this. You got to do that. And it doesn't work for everyone. I don't think he was able to look at a pitcher and say, you have a really good fastball. We should focus on that more. Or you have a really good slider. Let's use that, Carlos Rodon. Or you have a really good curveball. Let's use that. No, it was, okay, everybody, you got to throw a cutter. And, I think getting rid of Coop was the best move. I think it also helped culturally because I don't think Coop was necessarily. We know he was the Judas in the Ozzie Guillen years. We know that. So I'll just leave it at that. But LaRussa will help in bringing a culture of expectation and success and of winning. Second, adversity. Eloy getting hurt. That's that's adversity right there. Having to make do with what you have is adversity right there. This is a guy who's gone through it before. Again, in 2006, the Cardinals lost Albert Pujols for an extended period of time. If I remember correctly, he came back off the DL against the White Sox in a series at the time, U.S. Cellular Field in June. I remember the game before he came back off, the Sox put up a 20 spot on the Cardinals, and Tomei was just hitting balls that I don't think have landed yet. But he knows how to calm the waters. Now, I think Ricky Renteria is a great guy, but if anything, the way that Game 3 shook out at Oakland left me thinking he does not know how to handle adversity. And I don't know if that extends to... I don't know if that was him or if that was Coop who was calling the pitching shots after Crochet got hurt. But the obvious plan was to get Crochet in there and have him throw a couple innings, and he came up hurt. My issue is with what happened after that. I don't have a problem with the Crochet plan, so to speak. My issue was with how things were handled once Crochet went out with the injured elbow. I think it got him caught flat-footed, and I think they put pitchers in position to lose, a.k.a. Carlos Rodon. So I think LaRussa is a great guy to have for adversity and handling adversity. So that's my second point. And my third point, which I think is the most critical, is this year, 2021, and it's why I keep focusing on this, the bullpen will be more important than ever because of what's happened in 2020 with the pandemic and the only 60 games and everything else. Bullpen usage is going to be critical. It's going to be key. That is what's going to make or break the season. Who better do you want handling the bullpen than the guy who basically invented the modern bullpen with Dave Duncan? Think about it. And I'm sure that, Ethan Katz probably has a way to get in touch with Dave Duncan to lean on his expertise. And if I remember correctly, Duncan is still consulting with the White Sox. Just remember that. And Duncan's kid is also in the dugout right now, too, as an analytics analyst or something like that. I forget the exact title. Who else would you want there? I mean, honestly, this is a guy who knows how to handle a bullpen. He's the one who basically created it in the late 80s with Dennis Eckersley and the Oakland A's. I don't think there's a Mariano Rivera if there's not a Dennis Eckersley first, and what Eckersley did for those Oakland A's teams. So people need to take comfort in that and understand that this is the guy who invented the modern bullpen usage. You could talk about the analytics and everything else all you want. He's the one who actually did it. He had analytics in place before analytics were a thing. So, and also, if you look across the two, if you look at the two dugouts, any game this season, any game, and you look at there's LaRussa in this dugout, and let's just go Francona in Cleveland's dugout, just as an example. Do you really think Francona will be able to outmatch LaRussa? Do you think Francona would be able to outmatch Renteria? That's another difference there. There's probably nothing that Tony hasn't seen or thought about in his time in the dugout. Remember, he started managing in 79. There aren't too many things that would probably happen where he would say, I've never seen that before. I'm sure there could be some things, but not too many. And I think he gives the team a tactical advantage being there because he could say, I remember, 2 years ago watching this game, Francona did this in this scenario. So let me make this move to try and counteract that before it actually happens. I relate it to part of my job in real life where I have to deliver bad news to people as far as how their processes are working and issue findings and write-ups. Not a pleasant thing at times. People get very upset. One of the things you have to do, and any good person who does public meetings with people and things like that will anticipate before actually doing. So I will anticipate what the conversation will be like. I will know the talking points that I have, and I will anticipate based on some knowledge of dealing with the people before or based on putting myself in their shoes, what they would say or do based on what I'm going to say or do. And I would try and craft a response before it actually gets to that point to try and minimize or eliminate that particular pain point or conversation point. It's the same in baseball. He will try and make moves before it actually becomes prevalent to try and counteract something that they may want to do. That's the LaRussa advantage. Now, I know people will say drunk driving, AJ Hinch, say all that all you want. This is the guy you want in the dugout for 2021. Key distinction, 2021. Would it be for 2022? I don't know. But 2021, based on what has happened in 2020 and everything else and where the Sox are, this is the right guy for the job. Will it work in the end? No. That's why you play 162 games, to be honest with you, because if it worked in the end, the Dodgers would be, 5-time world champions or something like that? The Yankees probably would have won 6 or 7 more during the Derek Jeter years. This is why you play the games. But this is the guy you want for 2021. So I hope people can take that. I am not, again, let me be clear. I am not condoning actions off the field. I am strictly talking about him in the dugout. It's a clear distinction. I want to make sure everyone understands it. Because I don't want people coming back to me going, oh, you're condoning a drunk driver. Because, hey, people, listen, I don't condone drunk driving. I don't, okay? Understand that. Understand that. No, don't condone drunk driving, period, end of statement. But this is the guy you want in the dugout for game time. That's how I'm saying it. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, issues, want to tell me I'm awesome, want to tell me I suck, whatever it may be, feel free. Feel free to pass this on to your friends. And there will be a post-game show Thursday night, Friday morning, depending on when the game ends. And so we'll have some fun. Hopefully there'll be a lot of victory shots this year. Hint, hint. So thanks a lot, everyone. And with that, I am out. Bang.